Today we're facing off against our old expansion rival team here in the Seattle Supersonics, and this is a team that we played every year. I've yet to beat them, and so I really want to do that this year. So we're actually gonna do some specific matchups, do a little bit of game planning, not a ton. I'm not gonna treat this like a playoff series or anything, but Sidney Lowry's gonna guard Scotty Barnes. Pope's gonna guard Green, and then Mullins, which would just be the automatic matchup, but just in case they put him at power forward or anything, I always want Francis Mullins on Shangoon. Gonna guard their big three with three of our best defenders, and we're gonna see exactly how that goes and if we can finally beat this Seattle Supersonics team. They do have one win more than us on the season, so a pretty even matchup. I'd say the most even it's been since season 1, where we were both expansion teams and neither of us were really any good. So let's go in and see if we can beat the Sonics. So after all the game planning, let's see if it can work here on the court. Gonna wear our alternate unis here for our regular season finale for the spotlight games. There's still, of course, a few weeks to go in the regular season after this, which we'll get to once this game is over. Sidney Lowry getting this game started with a miss from the mid-range. Green pick and roll with Scotty Barnes, but it's blocked by Andre Stevens. Nice play. Didn't look like he had much of a chance there, but got the block anyway as Malachi gets the scoring going in this ball game. Shangoon posting up. Mullins there. And that's one of the weaknesses I can foresee come playoff time. And now it's time to start thinking of the playoffs as we face a really good big man. Mullins has shown time and time again he can kind of get taken in the post. I think our response will be to try to put Andre Stevens there. He's a little bit bigger. He's not as good interior defense though, so it'll be curious to see, should that matchup come, what we do with it. But getting back into this game here, this time Mullins is blocked by Alperin Shangoon. On the other side, he gets the mismatch with Malachi Pope and takes advantage of it. We're all even at 6 apiece. Lowry, good look from the wing, and he breaks the tie. Lowry with it again here, going inside on Fred Cooper-Dyke, and finds the space he needs for the pull-up jumper. That one's another block here. Mullins, this time on the rejection, leads to a Malachi Pope 3 on the other end, and he has his jumper working for him here to start this game. Jalen Green, strong take inside, gets him a bucket. Pope, another strong take on the other end, and he's already up to 9 points on the ball game. Nobody guarding Cooper-Dyke there. Andre Stevens just decided to let him have that one, I guess. Nice steal from Pope. We're running the other way, and Pope just kind of runs right in front of Sidney Lowry. He gets the bucket. I don't know if that was the best spacing there on the fast break, but it's all right. We ended up with the bucket anyway, and all of a sudden we're doubling up the Sonics 20-10. Hayes, contested jumper, but he drains it all the same. Lowry going inside and just getting right by Branham, and the point blank wide open shot is good. Shangoon now going against AC Stevens, dishes to Jeremy Grant, who draws the foul. His free throws both good as well. So it's 22-15 in favor of our Sonics. Turnaround shot for Sid the Kid, and he hits that one. Not a tool we often see him pull out of his bag, but nice to see it nonetheless. This time a nice pass to the corner for Davidson. He missed it, but AC Stevens right there with the putback dunk. This time Stevens with the steal. Lowry pushing in transition, and then what is that shot by Sam Hudson? Another steal by AC Stevens. Pushing again to Hudson this time. Gonna be a better shot from him. And Lowry's gonna pick up the assist. Man, off the dribble, that's a pure looking jumper right there. Gets Seattle to 17. Andre Stevens trying to pull the trigger from deep, but it rimmed around and out. In the pick and roll, Shangoon, the nice finish. And that's going to do it here for the first quarter. 28-19 the score. Liked what I saw on both sides of the ball. A lot of getting in these passing lanes, getting steals on defense, and then translating them to offense. Malachi Pope was pure with the jumper all quarter long. Gives us a 9-point lead to start the second. Going to get the stop. Pushing the other way. Sam Hudson has another look. He's gotten a couple of good layups in transition early on in this one. Barrett. Blocked by Ernest Augustine. What a play from him. Sam Hudson the other way. Stepping back on the jumper. Not loving that shot selection there. And now the steal from Augustine. Making a couple of defensive plays for us. Hudson doesn't find him on the other end. Instead pulls up again. What is he doing? The shot selection from Hudson is terrible. Buddy, you're like the 9th or 10th man on the team. You're not the one taking step back midi jumpers, dude. It's not your role. Oh, another steal. We're just racking up the turnovers here early on in this game. And then on the other end, he finishes through the contacts and gets the and one opportunity. Beautiful finish from Malachi, and can't quite finish the 3-point play though. Barnes running pick and roll, and another steal from Pope. This time in transition, finds his fellow Duke rookie who slams it in. A beautiful sequence for the Sound. Scotty Barnes, excuse me. Scotty Miller's a football player. Nice spin and the layup there. Tough shot from Pope, but he hits it nonetheless. Man, this guy's jumper is on one today. He is feeling it. Ernest Augustine in the post. Off a beautiful feed from Davidson. Jeremy Grant left all alone top of the key, and he makes us pay for it. Still, though, a 14-point Nashville lead. Davidson kicks to Pope. Thought about it for a second and pulls the trigger. 18 first half points for Malachi now. Still 6 minutes left to go in the quarter. Green top of the key goes up top for Barnes. It's no good. Davidson pushing it up the court. Finds wide open Malachi Pope in the corner, and he's going to hit that one. If he's hitting the shots we've seen earlier in this game, he's definitely hitting that one as Jalen Green makes the difficult three there. Davidson pulls up off the screen. That shot is pure. We lead by 17, but not for long if you're going to leave Jalen Green open like that. Down to a 14-point lead. Sam Hudson back in the game here. And again, with some questionable decision-making. I know it was late in the shot clock, but he definitely could have passed that around a bit. On the other end, Cooper Dyke. Wide open three, down to 11 now. We're building up a bit of a lead here. But now, it's slowly starting to go away as we're just leaving Jalen Green open beyond the arc. I would not recommend doing such a thing. Moody inside. Dishes to Andre the Giant, who takes his sweet time but gets the layup. Killian Hayes now is the one we leave open in the corner. Just leaving way too many open guys beyond the arc right now for my liking. Under 2 minutes to go in the half. Back up by 10. Hudson, this time a much cleaner look, and when he's gotten good looks, he's hitting them. He's just taking some trash looks here in the first half. Jalen Green heating up from beyond the arc. Can't really do much to stop him right now, it seems. And a beautiful hop step layup there from Lowry. Almost got the and one. Instead, he'll settle for a pair of free throws. Hits the first. Second is also up and in. We lead by a dozen. Seattle's got one more shot. It's going to be Killian Hayes, who was too strong on that attempt. So, 58-46 heading into the halftime break. Don't really have a ton of complaints about what I saw in the first half other than Sam Hudson's shot selection and some poor three-point defense. But 21-3 for Pope with 3 steals on 11 shots is pretty great. Everyone except for Hudson and Moody shot at least 50% and doing good. And yeah, just some poor three-point defense on Jalen Green. He's got him 16 points at the half, but other than that, I think Lowry's done a great job on Scotty Barnes, and we're doing good here. Have a really big boost here in turnovers as we've forced 9 to just only having 4 ourselves. That points off turnovers is a difference of 12, which is the difference in this game, and so I really like what I've seen defensively, getting in the passing lanes, getting deflections, getting blocks, all that good stuff. It's been, I think, the key to this first half. Let's continue it here on in the second. Lowry finds a wide open Moses Moody who drains it from beyond the arc. Good start to the second. Hayes, little leaning floater. Gets it to go. Malachi Pope running pick and roll and finds his rookie center for the easy deuce. This time running the pick and roll with Sidney Lowry, who dishes it back to him. This 3 is off the arc, though. Not seeing him miss all that much today. And in transition, a strong take from Killian Hayes. Lowry going inside, draws the foul on the pull-up mid-ranger. And hits the first free throw. Second one also falls. Become quite a good free throw shooter as the years have gone along, as Sidney Lowry. High post is Hayes. They get it down to Scotty Barnes inside, who at the last second was able to get the layup over Sidney Lowry. Lowry now defended by Fred Cooper-Dyke and just blows right by him for the dunk. On the other end, Seattle feeding Scotty Barnes inside again and gets the layup to go. Sidney Lowry, an elite perimeter defender, but his inside defense isn't quite as strong. Lowry here. Wide open shot top of the key. That is something he is very elite at. And then we're fouling Jalen Green on the jumper here on the other end. Not ideal. He missed the first free throw, though. Won't go 0 for 2. Lowry. He's isolating again, getting inside and drawing another foul. Been going heavy here with the isolations, but it's been working. So I don't mind it at all. Lowry hits 2 for 2. Done a nice job getting himself to the line in this game, more than we usually see. And we fouled Jalen Green on a jumper again. Sam Hudson. Bro, I gotta be honest. We gotta think about playoff rotations, and from what I've seen from Hudson today, maybe we go down to a 9-man rotation and give Christian Davidson all of the guard minutes off the bench. I think that might be the move here with Hudson. Just kind of, as the season has gone along, has turned more into a shooter and less of a passer, and now he's getting blocked on a mid-range jump shots. What is this guy? This is the guy that after like a month and a half into the season, he was just this insanely good passer. And now he's some hot shot misser. I don't know what's going on, man. Sidney Lowry. This episode is definitely his most egregiously bad one in terms of shot selection, but it's just been creeping up and more and more of a problem as the season's gone along. It's just kind of reared its head uglily. Is that even a word? I don't even know. I don't think so. So, Something to think about as we get to playoff rotations here in a minute. This time he actually makes the shot, though. We're up 13. For the Barrett off glass, but he did not quite have the right angle on that one. And there you go. That's a beautiful pass. That's what I want from you, Sam. Not many players on our team are making the pass that good. You're one of them. And that's your role on the team. Barnes. That one's blocked by Lowry. Great job on the contest. It looked like Barnes had an open shot there. And Baldwin gets fouled on the other end. Lowry being a two-way superstar in the playoffs is going to really, I think, be the determining factor on how deep we go in said playoffs. I think, as much as we have exciting young players all around, Sidney Lowry is the only guy that's, I think, ready to be a great playoff performer. And we're going to need it from him here, as we're going to be going up against one of the really good teams in the East from round one. We didn't get a higher seed to get an easy round one matchup, so we're going to need some special stuff just like this ankle breaker. He dropped Phillips to the floor and hit the three-pointer after it. My goodness, that's the best ankle breaker we've seen all year. Holy. This time trying to draw the foul on the mid-range as the third quarter ends. But we're holding on to that double-digit lead. Not able to really build on it much in the third, but we at least kept it. Let's move on to the fourth. Time to seal away this victory. The first ever one against the Sonics. Can't blow this lead. No way. This one, nice contest from Pope to force the miss. Now we're pushing it the other way. Malachi dishes to Davidson. He had plenty of space from deep, and he made the Sonics pay. Now we're up 19. Branham, strong take against Pope. Davidson, quick trigger again, and he's got himself a couple of baskets here to start the fourth quarter. Barrett gonna draw the foul on Patrick Baldwin. First free throw from Barrett is good, as is the second. Oh, gets the double screen, has space to fire off of it, and his hot streak continues here tonight. Barrett's good luck, but it just rims around and out. Malachi going the other way, finding Ernest Augustine inside, and it's a foul. Not a great free throw shooter is Ernest Augustine, though, and he's going to miss the first. Second one is good, though, so he avoids the 0 for 2. And we're up by 21. Branham, that's a strong take. And Baldwin here with a couple fouls here in the fourth, but he can't complete the three-point play. Pope just taking a leaning three-pointer. And hey, when you're hot, you're hot. And this guy cannot be stopped tonight. Malachi Pope, everybody. Just feeling it. But we fouled Jalen Green on a three-pointer for the second time today. And he's got another foul on a deep mid-ranger. We just can't keep fouling this guy on jump shots. What are we doing? Pope inside, draws the foul. Gonna continue his hot night. He might be steering towards a career high, you gotta think. We've seen some good stuff from Pope, but usually over stretches, whereas tonight he's just been good all night long from first quarter up through now, despite that missed free throw. Jeremy Grant. Nice bucket here in transition for Seattle. Stevens finds a cutting Lowry. I don't know why he pulls up on that. There's nobody between him and the basket. Why is he not finishing that drive? Oh, a nice step back from Malachi. And that's going to pretty much do it for this game. Seattle just could not come back in the first half of that fourth quarter. Up by 20 with 6 minutes to go. Felt time to call it a day. Lowry ends up with 40 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists on 23 shots. Malachi Pope ends up with 39. That's got to be a career high, I think. It's definitely a high in the spotlight games, but has he done better in simulation? No, he has not. His career high prior to this was 34, so a career night from Malachi. I mean, it just felt like it all throughout the game as well. He just could not be stopped. Also ends up with 8 assists and 3 steals. Mullins with 11 and 8. Hudson ends up with 10 points. But again, I didn't love his game despite the fact that he had those 10 points. And a great win for the squad. There's now just one game left here in the season. And we will go over stats and awards here to end off today's episode. And then next episode, we will have our first ever playoff appearance. And one thing that I have an idea of, but if you have an opinion, I'd like to hear it for sure, is how you want the playoff series to go. Right now, my initial idea is to have 2 games an episode, and so we'll just show 2 full games and we'll go until the series advances. And so if you have an idea of how you'd want the playoffs to be shown other than that, I am all ears to other suggestions. And I haven't sim this last game because as soon as you do, it goes straight into stats and awards and you can't see the calendar anymore. And I just want to give one last overview here. We are currently the 5 seed, slated to play the Pistons in round 1, but we are also just 1 game out from 3 and 1 game out from 5. That 1 game out from 6. So 3 to 6 is all really close. And so we're looking at facing either the Cavaliers, the Pistons, or the Pacers in round 1. I'd honestly love if we could avoid the Pistons, but as it stands right now, that is our matchup. So I think if the Pistons lose and the Pacers win, we could face Indiana, or if we lose and Indiana wins, we could be facing Cleveland. So I don't know how the tiebreakers are going to work. All I know is we're losing the tiebreaker to the Pistons. So let's go ahead here, sim this last game. It ends up being a win, so we will not drop to the 6th seed. MVP for this season will be Nikola Jokic. Nice to see somebody other than Luka make it here. Not that I'm a Luka hater by any means, but I just don't think one player should win the MVP every year in a video game. And yeah, definitely a deserving MVP. 22, 11, and 9 with 2.5 stocks, shot 49% from the field. Francis Mullins ends up winning Rookie of the Year. I think maybe through the first half of the season, I would have guessed it was going to be Malachi Pope, but Francis Mullins really emerged as our second best player as the year went on, it seemed. Of course, Pope was insanely good in today's episode, but Mullins was just a little bit more consistent. Jamal Murray, back-to-back 6th man of the year. He's really thriving in that role. I think he's too good to be a 6th man, but hey, he chose to go to Portland, and that's on him. Chet Holmgren, it wins Defensive Player of the Year with 3 blocks a game and 14.5 rebounds for Chet. I mean, okay. All right. I don't know if he's a 14.5 rebound guy, but who am I to say? Donovan Mitchell, 24 points a game is your clutch player of the year. Came up for the team many times down the stretch. Alexander Christelle is coach of the year with 53 wins. 53 wins, won the West this year, huh? All right. So it looks like it was a pretty even season. There weren't any dominant teams here in terms of wins and losses. We'll go through all of that in just a moment. Going through all NBA teams, we already saw Jokic's stats here. Also making it was Victor Wembanyama, who had 27.5, 12.5, and 3 with 2.5 blocks a game and a steal. My goodness, this guy is starting to reach a ceiling that is insane. Darren Anthony also makes All-NBA first team with 22, 12, and 5. Giannis, 21, 10, and 6 is All-NBA first team as well with Chet Holmgren. We've already seen his stats. Second team, we've got Jason Tatum, 27, 8, and 4. With LaMelo Ball, 23, 5, and 9. Ja Morant, 25, 7, and 9. Bam Adebayo, 22, 10, and 4 with 2.5 stocks a game. Brandon Miller, 24, 6, and 5 for him. Third team, Anthony Edwards makes it here with 28, 6, and 3.5. Here we've got Asar Thompson. So the other Thompson twin. Last time we had a man in the All-NBA. Now his twin brother makes it in the following season. 22, 4, and 7 from SGA, shooting insanely efficiently, by the way. Sidney Lowry makes his first All-NBA appearance here. His numbers did drop off at one point after a couple months into the season. He was shooting really well and had a lot of points per game. Still ends up with 24, 5, and 5 on really good efficiency. And, really early on was maybe part of the MVP conversation. Still an All-NBA caliber player, though. Giddey for San Antonio. So San Antonio ends up with 2 players in the All-NBA teams. All defense, we got Lonzo Ball, Anthony Edwards, Giannis, Jaren Jackson, Chet Holmgren. Thompson twins, let's go. Jalen Johnson. So Jalen Johnson went out and balled out for the Heat, I guess. Making All-NBA. All defense, excuse me. All rookie team. So Malachi Pope ended up being second place for Rookie of the Year. This is basically just Rookie of the Year rankings. Damian Harvey ends up with 14, 4, and 4. Shot below 40%, but was good there. Joshua Barry Carroll, 12, 3, and 2. And then Jose Hernandez with 9 points and 4 assists on just under 19 minutes a game. Kelvin Fletcher here, 12 points a game. I think that his shooting percentages will go up as time goes on. Kurt Watts, good offensive player. Dennis Ward, Josh Bellamy, and Ruben Taylor. So now let's go ahead and take a look at our players' stats here. As we've seen, Lowry ends up with 24, 5, and 5 on the year. Mullins would be second in scoring with that 15 points a game. Averaged a double-double in his rookie year. Also had 3 assists a game. 1.6 blocks for a 2.3 stock total. Shot over 50%. 33% from the three-point line. So that ended up coming back down to reality because he was on fire to start the year. Malachi Pope ends up with 14 points, 3.5 rebounds, 7.5 assists, and 1.6 stocks. His shooting ended up at 43%, which is solid, I think, for a rookie year guard. 36% from 3. Andre Stevens, 13.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 2 steals, about a stock and a half. Shot 48% from the field, 35% from 3. Baldwin, who, as you see here in the second to last game of the season, did get injured, which is going to complicate things come our playoff rotation, which I'll set next time and show you guys. But he was obviously going to be a big part of our playoff rotation, and we have to plan that rotation without him now, as he's done for the season. Really sucky news to end the season, but he ended up shooting 47% and an awesome 44% from deep. Christian Davidson, just under 10 points, shot 44%, 2 rebounds, 2 assists as well. Shot 37.5% from 3. Moses Moody had 8 points, just under 3 rebounds, just under 2 assists. Shot over 50% from the field and shot 42% from 3. So this is why I think it shows why Moody was a good starter for us. Didn't take as many shots, wasn't scoring as much. If we look at field goal attempts, I mean, he was shooting much less, which would have been Christian Davidson had he been starting, but he was very efficient when he did shoot. That's exactly what you want from your 5th starter. So I think we'll see how Davidson's progression goes in the off season, but I still think 6th man is his best role for the time being. AC Stevens had 7 points, 5 rebounds a game on 58% from the field. Very efficient for him this year. Hudson 6 points and 3 assists on 48% from the field. He also shot 42%, just under that, from 3. Ernest Augustine 5 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist. He's gonna have to come up and play some big minutes in the playoffs with Baldwin out. I think Davidson minutes are going up. He's gonna have to play some 3, and then Ernest Augustine's might have to play some as well. And then we got the guys that didn't really play for us. So overall, I think a really fun team. 4 guys over 5 rebounds a game. 2 guys over 5 assists. 3 guys still a plus, although Draymond doesn't really count. 1 guy over a block a game. In terms of shooting, I mean, Pope was our worst at 43%. Davidson right there, and those are the only 2 under 45% on the entire team. We were excellent there. Looking at the wrong thing. Where's 3-point percentage? There it is. In terms of 3-pointers, Ernest Augustine was our worst. Mullins, and those are the only 2 that shot under 35%, which is really, really good. Free throw percentage wise, we had a few guys shooting under, I guess McCollum doesn't have, so we had 2 guys under 70% there. One thing I want to do, let's take a look at the advanced stats here. I want to see the leaders. Obviously, we're going to have Lowry lead us here. Mullins not too far behind, and then AC Stevens, Patrick Baldwin, Sam Hudson here was playing above average with PER. The average is always 15. And so, Andre Stevens and Pope maybe a little bit lower than you'd think here. Efficiency, again, you're seeing Lowry and Mullins at the top. This is where Pope gets a little bit better here, up to 3rd place. Andre Stevens at 4th. And this is honestly what I could say our 4 best players, maybe even our 5 best players here with Baldwin. I think this is more of an accurate description of how good people were. Davidson and Moody were actually tied. That's funny. And yeah, I'd actually say efficiency is really online with how I viewed how the players played in terms of the ranking here. Game score, really similar ranking we're seeing here. True shooting percentage, we were led by Moses Moody, again, just super efficient with his touches. Mullins had the best rebound rate, then AC Stevens, Andre Stevens over 10 as well. Assist ratio, we had Sam Hudson leading us here, Malachi Pope behind him, and then a pretty big drop off down to Sidney Lowry. Turnover rate, Sam Hudson had 12.7% of his possessions be turnovers, then AC Stevens, Moody, Augustine, and Pope over 10. Pure point rating, these are the best point guards on the team. Malachi Pope leads there, Hudson behind him, with Lowry after that. Possessions, Lowry led us there, no surprise. Mullins ends up pretty much in line with Pope, which is kind of what I want. I want these guys getting pretty similar touches, which is exactly what they got. Usage-wise, Lowry leads us there, with Pope behind him. Those are the only guys over 20. Baldwin being 3rd in usage is interesting. Estimated wins added, we had 2 guys reach double digits and then a big drop off after that. So there's really these 2 guys that did the most in affecting winning for us here. Points per weighted shot, we had the worst guy was Ernest Augustine, and we had several guys here at 1.3 to lead us here. So now I want to take a look at the team stats. Here it is, right here. And just see, we've been looking at these and we've been in the bottom for the first few seasons. So I'm glad to see that this year won't quite be that. We had tied for the 8th best record in basketball. And we had, in terms of points per game, we were 6th highest in the league at 113.8. Points allowed, we allowed, looks like I need to redo the Sonics logo again. It happens often. So we allowed the 13th most points per game, tied with a couple teams here at 111. Differential, we end up being right outside the top 10. In terms of field goal percentage, we were 4th best at shooting in basketball. And 3 points, we were the #1 3-point shooting team in all of basketball this year. That really showed in our spotlight games. I mean, this team was just absolutely incredible from deep. We end up being about 8th worst or so, somewhere around there from the free throw, so that's still not our strength. Offensive rebound percentage, that is something that we are about league average at, and the defensive rebounding, we are much better there, top 3 in the league. Total rebounds per game will be about middle of the league. Assists per game, this is where we're going to see a big time improvement. Top 10. Prior to this year, we were one of the worst in all of basketball, but both of our point guards this year, I think, were the 2 best passers we've had on the team in the first 4 years. I think we always had good passing at the point guard spot, and that made a big difference on our offense. I think it's also a really big reason that we're the #1 3-point shooting team in the league. We're hitting guys in good spots much more frequently than we have in years past, and honestly attribute passing as one of the big reasons we were successful this year. Just the stark difference between this year and what we've had in the past. Steals per game, it looks like we'll not be quite as great there. Blocks per game, we will be 21st in the league. Turnovers per game, we were towards the bottom of the league in turning the ball over, so that's good to see. About maybe 8th best there. In terms of avoiding fouls, we were the 4th best there. Scoring off of turnovers, top 5. Second chance points, we're the worst. We don't score on second chance. We score on the first chance, baby. That's what we do. Points in the paint, not been great for us. In the bottom 10 there. Bench points per game, we are about middle of the pack in the league, and so bench percentage is probably gonna be pretty low. Now we're about middle of the pack there. We're doing just fine. In terms of opponent shooting, we still allow the 4th highest shooting percentage in the league. Part of that is because of spotlight games. Teams just shoot better. The only way to, in my experience at least in 2K, to simulate at least semi-realistic box scores is to boost percentages, because teams wait to shoot until late in the shot clock, I feel like, way more often in 2K than they do in real life. In terms of limiting 3-pointers, we were also 5th worst there, and there you have it. I think seeing ourselves rank in the top 10 and even in the top 5, and a lot of these even leading the league in an important stat like 3-point percentage. Where were we in attempts? You'd like to get those attempts up. For the #1 shooting in the league, you want to be more than the league average in shooting, you know? So that will be it. In terms of our round 1 matchup, we are officially matching up against the Detroit Pistons. This is the one team this season that really took it to us. I think this is the only loss in the spotlight game that we took all year. Really performed well in those games, but Detroit is a tough matchup for us. I'll be going further in depth in that matchup. Come next episode, we'll also be setting our lineups, setting up, our defensive and offensive strategies. All of that will be coming in the next episode, and I am excited to get the playoffs underway. I think round 1's going to be really tough, but I'm excited to see if we can pull it off. That's all I've got for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're excited for our first ever playoff series. That will be starting soon, and until then, sound up.